Necessities are demands, and demands create actions, and actions bring about results.
The process of evolution is constantly building my tomorrows out of my todays.
Individual development, like universal development, must be gradual, with an ever-increasing capacity and volume.
Intention equals results. The knowledge is an indication that success is contingent upon the highest moral ideal, that is, the greatest good to the greatest number. Aspiration, desire, and harmonious relations constantly and persistently maintained will accomplish results.
To be in tune with eternal truth,
I must possess harmony within.
in order to receive intelligence,
The receiver must be in tune with the transmitter.
thought is a product of mind, and mind is creative.
This means that I can come into harmonious relationship with the universal, and when I have accomplished this, I may ask for anything I am entitled, and the way will be made clear.
The universal mind is so wonderful to understand. I am utilizing its powers and possibilities with its infinite production effects. I know this mind is all intelligence and all substance, only differentiated in form.
As I secure the effect I desire,
Just as electricity is a form of power in motion, effect will depend on the mechanism I attach to the electric power.
the mechanism can be heat, light, music, transportation, television, or many more marvelous demonstrations of power.
Thought is mind in motion, just like wind is air in motion, and its effect will also depend entirely on the mechanism it is attached to, just as all mental power depends entirely on the mechanism I attach to it. There is a great mental world where I live and I have my being.
This world is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent.
I will respond to my desire in direct ratio to my purpose and faith. The purpose must be in accordance with the laws of my being. It must be constructive. My faith must be strong enough to generate a current of sufficient strength to bring my purpose into manifestation. The effects produced in the world are the results of the action and reaction of the individual on the universal.
That is the process I call thinking.
The brain is the organ that accomplishes this process.
The brain is an embryonic world, ready to develop at any time as necessity may arise.
If I can comprehend this as a scientific truth and one of the wonderful laws of nature, it will be easier for me to get an understanding of the mechanism that accomplishes this extraordinary result.
The nervous system has been compared to an electrical circuit. Its battery of cells are where this force originates,
And it has matter to insulate wires.
where current is relayed.
It is through these channels that every impulse or desire is carried through system.
The spinal cord is the great motor and sensory pathway that conveys messages to and from the brain. Then there is the blood supply flowing through the veins and arteries, renewing my energy and strength. A perfectly arranged structure for the entire physical body, and finally, the delicate and beautiful skin, clothing the entire mechanism of me.
This is the temple of the living God, the individual. I, with choice, control, and understanding.
Built into the mechanism.
When the thought sufficiently refined and concentrated, the substance expressed perfectly.
Influence of the mind can be exerted on any part of the body, causing any desirable effect. A perfect conception and understanding of the laws governing the mental world will succeed for value in any transaction. As it develops power and gets a clear understanding and appreciation of knowledge,
As I look within, I eventually determine my course in life and bring myself into vibration with all that is best, strongest, and most desirable. Attention and concentration is the most important essential in the development of mind culture.
the possibilities of attention when properly directed are fundamental. The cultivation of attention is the distinguishing characteristic of every successful person and is the very highest individual accomplishment developed. The power of attention is understood by comparing a candle to a laser beam. The candle will radiate light. When the rays of light are focused, they have intensive laser beam strength. The contrast of effect is immediately apparent. With the power of thought, focus this power through attention and concentration on a single purpose for any length of time, and anything is possible. It is through attention that I am able to overcome obstacles of any kind that may be in my path. The way to acquire this wonderful power is by practice. Practice makes perfect.
Successful entrepreneurs are constantly demonstrating the fact that it pays to keep in touch with the thought of other successful leaders. A single idea may be worth millions or billions of dollars, and these ideas can only come to those who are receptive and prepared to receive them in a successful frame of mind. People are learning to place themselves in harmony with the universal mind. They are learning the unity of all things. They are learning the basic methods and principles of thinking. And this is changing conditions and multiplying results. I find that circumstances and environment follow the trend of material and spiritual progress. I find that growth follows knowledge, action follows inspiration, opportunity follows perception.
Always the spiritual first, then the transformation into the infinite possibilities of achievement.
Thought is the process to absorb the spirit of power and hold the result of my inner consciousness
until it becomes a part of my basic consciousness. The method of accomplishing this result by the persistent practice of a few fundamental principles to remember.
And then the master keys will unlock the universal prosperity.
I love myself. I accept myself, even when I need to understand myself better. I can change myself, improve myself, recreate myself, control my environment, and master my own destiny. I know in my own mind I am wide awake to the power of right thinking and constructive action. Through all my life, I believed in an invisible power. Through that and by that, all things have been created and are continually being recreated. I may personalize this power and call it Source.
Or I may think of it as the energy or essence that permeates all things.
In either case, the effect is the same.
The objective, the physical, the visible, recognized by the senses. It consists of body, brain, and nerves. The subjective is the spiritual, the invisible, the intangible, the impersonal. Personal or conscious has the power of will and choice and can be exercised with discrimination in the selection of method to bring about any solution. The subconscious, spiritual, is one with the source and the origin of all power. It has infinite resources at its command. It will bring results through the human, even as many individual brains learn to understand it.
I will see that it is my privilege to depend on the human will as I utilize the infinite potentials of the subconscious mind. Here is the scientific explanation of the wonderful power that is within my control.
When I understand it, appreciate it, and recognize it.
The vibratory activities of the universe are governed by a law of recurrence. Everything that lives has periods of birth, growth, yielding, and decline. These periods are governed by the law of seven.
The law of sevens governs the day of the week, the phases of the moon, the harmonies of sound, light, heat, electricity, magnetism, and atomic structure. It governs the life of individuals and of nations, and it dominates the activities of world commerce.
Life is growth, and growth is change.
The first 7 years is the period of infancy. The next 7 is the period of childhood.
Represents the beginning of individual responsibility.
Concept formation. The next 7 represents the period of adolescence.
The fourth period marks the attainment of full growth.
The fifth period is the constructive period, when I begin to acquire property, possessions, a home, and family. The next, from 35 to 49,
is a period of reaction and changes. This, in turn, is followed by a period of reconstruction, adjustment, and recuperation.
Ready for a new cycle of sevens, beginning with the 50th year.
Familiar with these cycles, I can apply the principle outlined in my lessons with the full assurance that a higher law will control all other laws, and that through an understanding and conscious operation of spiritual laws, I will convert every circumstance into a blessing.
Visualization is the process of making mental images, and the image is the model that will serve as a pattern to create any future. Make the pattern clear and make it beautiful.
Remember that I decide I am resourceful. I draw on abundant supply. I construct it in my imagination. I plan for manifestation. Then it will appear. As I make the image clear and clean cut, I hold it firmly. In the meditative mind, I will gradually and consistently bring the thing nearer to me.
I will be as I will to be.
See the end before action is taken.
This is
Idealization.
Center daily until the picture becomes clear.
It will gradually unfold.
First, the general plan that will be conceived. It will take shape, the outline will take form, then the details,
and I will gradually develop the power to formulate
plans that will materialize in the objective world.
I will then know what the future holds for me.
I have creative visualization. I see the picture more and more complete. I see the detail, and as the detail begins to unfold, the ways and means for bringing it into manifestation will develop.
One thing will lead to another. Thought will lead to action.
Action will develop methods.
Methods will develop friends.
Friends will bring about circumstances. And finally, materialization is accomplished.
As I follow these directions, I will develop faith.
A kind of faith that is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen.
I will develop confidence, the kind of confidence that leads to endurance and courage. I will develop the power of concentration that will enable me to exclude all thoughts except the ones that are associated with my purpose.
The law is that thought will manifest in form.
And as I know how to be the divine thinker of my own thoughts, I take a master's place and speak with authority.
Clearness and accuracy are obtained by repeatedly having the image in mind.
Each repeated behavior renders the image more clear and accurate than before, and in proportion to the clearness and accuracy of the image, the outward manifestation will appear. I must build firmly and securely in my mental world,
The world within.
and then it can take form in the material world.
I can only build value, even in the material world, with the proper thinking.
When I use the right material, I will build anything I wish.
This material will be brought about by millions of silent mental workers and fashioned into the form of the images that I have in mind.
Think of it.
With millions of mental workers ready for active use,
They are called brain cells,
with this, there's another reserve force.
ready to be called into action at the slightest need. My power to think is creative, focused, and alert. In addition to these millions of mental workers, I have billions of physical workers in the body.
Everyone is endowed with sufficient intelligence to understand and act on any message or suggestion given.
These cells are all busy creating and recreating the body.
In addition to this, they are endowed with psychic activity whereby they can attract to themselves the substance necessary for perfect development of intrinsic responsibility. I now have an understanding of this wonderful power, and I make serious and conscientious efforts to realize health, wealth, power, happiness, and other conditions of joy.
Create the mental image, make it clear, distinct, perfect. Hold it firmly.
The ways and means will develop, supply will follow the demand.
I will be led to do the right thing at the right time and in the right way. Honest desire will bring about confident expectation and must be reinforced by firm demand. This will bring about attainment because the honest desire is the feeling, the confident expectation is the thought, and the firm demand is the will. And as I have seen, feeling gives vitality to thought and the will holds it steadily until the law of growth brings it into manifestation. As I give attention to the world within, I ascertain the truth and wisdom. This wisdom will unfold and disclose the source of my power. I will manifest in thought and purpose, creating the external condition desired. This truth will find expression in the noble purpose and courageous action. I create ideals. I let go of the external condition. I make the world within beautiful and affluent. The outside world will express and manifest the condition I have within. I realize my power to create ideals, and these ideals are projected into the world of effect. I concentrate on the things that I want. I think of abundance.
Idealize the method and plan for putting the law of abundance into operation. I visualize the condition.
I will manifest it.
The law operates perfectly to bring about conditions of abundance and affluence for those who entertain thoughts of courage and power.
I plant the seed of confidence. I will do more and better work than I have ever done before. New channels will consistently be provided. New doors will open. All that is necessary is to have an active mind, ready when the opportunity comes.
Thought force is the most powerful means of obtaining knowledge, and if concentrated on any subject, will solve the problem. All knowledge is within the power of human comprehension. To harness the force of thought, work is required.
Now I will find that I can freely choose what I think.
And the result of my thought is governed by an immutable law.
It is wonderful to know that my life is open to prosperity. As I am governed by this law, This stability is my opportunity.
By complying with this law, I can secure the desired effect with absolute precision.
It is this law that makes the universe one of harmony. The law of attraction is better known as the law of love. It is evident that I am love.
Love is productive, positive, and proactive.
I sow that thought,
Reap an action.
sow an action,
Reap a habit.
sow a habit,
Reap a character.
sow a character.
Reap a destiny.
I freely choose what I think.
The result of my thought is governed by an immutable law
Any line of persistent thought will produce results
in the character, health,
and circumstances of the individual. Methods developed can create habit of constructive thinking and replace contrary behaviors.
Thought contains a vital principle because it is the creative principle of the universe and by its nature will combine with other similar thoughts. As the purpose of life is growth, all principles underlying existence must contribute to give it effect.
Thought takes form and the law of growth eventually brings it into manifestation.
Control mental habits with persistence. Form the habit of analyzing every thought. It is necessary. Manifesting an objective must be a benefit for anyone affected. Let the will grow, develop, and be. The imagination is a great assistance in this direction. The cultivation of the imagination leads to the development of the ideal of my future. The imagination gathers up the material for the mind and weaves the fabric of my future. Imagination is the light to shine into new worlds of thought and experience. Imagination is a plastic power, molding the things of sense into new forms and ideals.
Imagination is the constructive form of thought.
That must precede every constructive form of action.
It is in the mastermind that real things are created, and it is by the use of the imagination that the work is done. In order to cultivate the imagination, it must be exercised.
Exercise is necessary to cultivate mental muscle as well as physical muscle. They must also be supplied with nourishment to grow. Constructive imagination means mental labor. This may be the hardest kind of labor, and it yields the greatest returns. For all the great things of life have come to people who had the capacity to think, to imagine, and to make their dreams come true. When I have become thoroughly conscious of the fact that mind is the only creative principle, the omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, and that I am consciously in harmony with this omnipotence through my power of thought, I can take the next giant step in the right direction. The next step is to place myself in position to receive this power. As it is omnipresent, it is within me. I know that this is so because I know that all power is from within. It must be developed, unfolded, cultivated. To do this, I must be receptive. This power is acquired just as a physical strength is gained by exercise. The law of attraction will certainly bring me the conditions, environment, and experiences in life corresponding with my habitual, characteristic, predominant mental attitude.
Yes, predominant mental attitude. In practice, consistently.
Real power comes from within. All power that anyone will need is within, waiting to be brought out into visibility by first recognizing it, then affirming it, then working it into the consciousness until it becomes one with me. There is no accident in life. There is ignorance and there is coincidence. All mistakes are mistakes of ignorance. Knowledge gained and consequential power is what determines growth and evolution. The recognition and demonstration of knowledge is what constitutes power. And this power is spiritual power. And the spiritual power is at the heart of all things. It is the soul of the omniverse. This knowledge is the result of my ability to think. Thought is the base of conscious evolution. Successful people make it their business to hold ideals and conditions they want to realize. I constantly hold in mind the next step necessary to the ideal. Thoughts are the materials that I build on, and the imagination is my mental workshop. Mind is the ever-moving force to secure the people and circumstances necessary to build my achievement structure, and the imagination is the matrix where all great things are formed. Faithful to my ideal, I will hear the call. When circumstances are ready to materialize my plans, results will correspond in the exact ratio of my focus toward my ideal. The ideal held in focus will determine and attract the necessary conditions for the ideal fulfillment. I will paint a picture of spirit and power into my entire existence. I will lead a charmed life and be forever protected from harm. I become the positive force for conditions of prosperity and harmony. When I think as I thought, I get as I got. Yesterday is history, tomorrow a mystery. Today is the gift of presence.